Is it in a presenter's view?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Monique. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. Yes, good morning. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, Professor Pitan and Monique. And thank you for the invitation. Especially thank you to Jimmy Caro, Professor Jimmy Caro, for this invitation for today's event. I believe that the theme for today's seminar is research as a career. And I would like to start with that idea that one thing na i-discuss ko po ngayon is the concept of data science. And data science is an applied research. Becoming a data scientist is actually having a career in research. And I will be describing why is that the case. No? But before I start, let me give you, so the title of my presentation is Case Study of How Data Science Drives Industry and Government Innovation. And a simple proof that it indeed drive industry and government innovation is this. In October last year, starting October last year po, at least sa Pilipinas, in the average, ang may pinakamataas na sweldo ay yung mga tinatawag natin na data scientists. And they are younger by 3 to 4 years in the average compared to doctors and lawyers. Previously, the way tinitingnan natin when you look at career, gusto kong maging lawyer, gusto kong maging doctor, and makikita po natin ngayon no, na the data scientist now overtakes in the average this career, no, doctor and lawyer. And as you can see, for those who are in the STEM field, those in IT are among the higher in terms of salary. Mas mataas po ang salary ng ating mga nasa IT, no? But the concept of data science, pag nilagyan nyo ng research ang pag-understand ng data, you increase your value more. Okay, nakakalungkot isipin though that the teachers and nurse and in the average, they are among the bottom of this pyramid. So, my presentation for today, okay, will provide a perspective on this particular field, no? But maybe a quick question based on the previous data is why do data scientists get paid so much? And this is what I will be highlighting in my presentation for today. The first one, we all know this. We are not training enough data scientists, proper trained data scientists, which is really about anchoring through applied research. And second, and more importantly, because of the monetary value they bring to the company. When once you are contributing to the value of the company and you are linked to the value of the company, obviously you are paid more. And there, I will be demonstrating in my presentation today some of the work that we've done with different companies. And you will see that you can indeed contribute significantly to different companies as a data scientist. So my presentation for today will follow the following outline. First off, I will be briefly discussing the so-called Industry 4.0 and the science of data. And then the highlight of my presentation will be on the second and third part where I will be discussing data science applications in government and industry. And then the National AI Roadmap, no? The National AI, the National Center of Artificial Intelligence research specifically. I will be describing how different conglomerates actually try to help come up with this National Center of AI Research. So very quickly, okay, let me tell you why data scientists right now is very much on demand, no? And it is essentially because of the following technological trends. We talk of smart devices every time. We talk of smartphones, smart cities, smart cars, smart manufacturing, smart watches. At the heart of these smart devices are feedback sensors that collects data. And based on that data, it emits a feedback to the system that it is trying to sense. And this is exactly the reason most of these data are, of course, information. This is the reason why right now it is no longer mechanical movement that is the main source of the one that consumes the most of electricity. It is actually trying to get information. So you can see in the social media alone, in 1 second, that is just 1 second, no? Breathe in and breathe out, you'll get 1 second. About 9,400 tweets are sent. And look at this, no? 3 million emails sent. In fact, the total email sent within a year is about within a day is about 129 billion. That is about 18 times compared to the population of the world combined. Ibig sabihin po nito kasama dyan ng mga spam, no? And yung greatest na consumption ng energy natin is about data rin. Information din ang nilalabas natin. Uh, as a result, we are growing the total data that we have by 9 to 10 times every 2 to 3 years. Okay, another way of looking at this is that in the last 2 to 3 years, 90% of the data that we have produced are since the start of the civilization, since the start of human civilization, actually nagawa lang natin ng mga data na to in the last 2 to 3 years. And this is a good news, no? We can store this data now sa mga katulad namin ni na Prof. Bitan na abutan namin lahat ng devices na to, no? And as you can see in 1980s, 1990s, gumagamit tayo nitong floppy nitong disk na to that can only store 1.4 MB. Not even sufficient to store a high resolution photo. Right now, it is common to see a 2 terabyte USB device that can store all your images. So we are producing a lot of image. This image can now be stored and it's becoming cheaper. No, it's becoming cheaper. In 1970s, 1 megabyte of data can cost 1 million US dollar. Now this cost is reduced to essentially almost zero, no, 0.00001 USD. The decrease is an astounding 10 to the 11, no? To raise to 10 to the 11. Ganun ka. This is an exponential decay, definitely an exponential decay in terms of the cost of data storage through the years. And also, we have computers that can crunch this information or this data at a very fast pace, no? This is the first supercomputer and it's quite fast. It can do 5,000 instructions per second. The weight of this is 30 tons or 30,000 kilos. But even an old model of an iPhone, this is just an iPhone 7, iPhone 6, it can execute more than 25 billion instructions per second, which is 5 million times greater than the speed of the computer in the 60s that weighs more than 30,000 kilos. So this is essentially the driver of the so-called Industry 4.0. And to all our audience out there, ito po yung reason, yung big data, bigger storage, and very powerful computers, kaya hindi lamang nagkakaroon ng innovation, pero nag-accelerate ang innovation na nangyayari. New paradigms are being developed, new business models are being developed, and yung mga tinatawag natin na gut feel, nawawala na yan, no? Kasi nalalaman natin that there is a better way of doing business, no? Or creating innovation more than the gut feel. But that is driven by data and technology. And though the good news is that, as you all know, technology has improved human lives. Medyo nabawasan ng konti yung lifespan, but the trajectory is that it continues to increase, no, from 61 in 1937 to 77.5 years old in the average para sa human population. But the bad news is that the companies are actually, hindi ko alam kung necessarily bad news to, pero namamatay po yung mga companies. S&P 500 companies are the top 500 companies in the US stock market. You can imagine that these are actually the top 500 companies in the world. And from an initial of 75 years of lifespan, okay, in 2012, naging 15 years na lang po ang lifespan niya. In fact, 12 to 15 na ngayon yung lifespan ng mga companies ng S&P 500. Ibig sabihin po nito, ito yung challenge sa generation ng mga bata ngayon, sa inyo po, ng mga estudyante dito. In your next job, pag hindi po katulad naming mga nasa 40s na, nasa 50s na, isang trabaho lang minsan, doon na kami forever. Ano, yung mga taga UP who is sponsored this, most probably they've been with UP for the longest time. Pero kayo po, may challenge na ganyan. No? You have to find 3 to 4 jobs in your 40-year career. And it is important, therefore, na kailangan yung mga emerging technology naturally na nalalagay ninyo sa inyong perspective. So why am I talking about AI? Because of all the technology that exists now, AI adoption across industries is the highest. No? That they are expecting 63% to 59%, and this is a 27 result, okay, of offerings and processes, it will be impacting industries. And this has changed significantly since then, okay, in 2 years time. About a year ago, they reported that the expectations for AI is now 93%, no? From 60% to 93%, that it should be incorporated in various processes in industries. So the technology with greatest impact, this is known as the ABC. As we all know, innovation is driven by technology, majority by technology. And these are the ABCs of those technology that drives innovation. AI accounts for about 72%, and the other 20% is given by the B, the blockchain technology, and C, the cloud computing. No? And these are just the expectations. Huge amount. It can add to the economy by 2030, and in the Philippines, this will be about 12% uplift to the Philippine GDP. And this is assuming that we are pursuing the current trajectory, no, which is not, in my opinion, still ideal. We can still improve. So the second part of my presentation, I will be highlighting data science applications in government and industry. And hopefully, by providing or discussing this, you will have an idea that, hey, indeed, data science is a research degree. It's an applied research degree. And the better, and for the first time in a long, long time, ang isang research degree po sa Pilipinas can be paid handsomely. No? Ang isang data science na nagsosolve ng mga problems coming from data can be paid handsomely. Okay, again, okay, the reason for that is let me go back to people. At the end of the day, this is all about people, no? Because of data, we know how people are connected. So this is just the social media and the connection of the different people. Because of data, we know how people actually interact with existing institutions, katulad po ng mga ATMs. No? So alam natin kung nasaan ang wealth at any point in time. And because of data, we also know how people are moving. No? This is just the arrival of people in airports. No? At nakikita po natin na kaya na nating makita at predict saan ng mga tao at any point in time. And now, we have a better understanding of how diseases, gossips, and information propagate. Despite the fact na napakarami na pong COVID cases, nakikita natin na itong COVID na nararamdaman natin na to, lalo na itong Delta variant, this is worse than the 1918 to 1919 Spanish flu that has actually impacted almost everyone in the population in the world. Medyo napiprevent pa po natin ngayon ito dahil nga mas alam natin kung paano nagpo-propagate ang mga disease. At mas konti ang namamatay po ngayon. So this is one thing that I would like to emphasize, that is a value of data science. It allows you to actually understand the human being without your biases. Ang dami-dami pong bias ng tao. More than thousands ng biases ng tao. At dahil sa biases na yon, nagiging hindi clear sa atin kung gusto natin mag-empathize sa kapwa natin. Actually, most of the time, this is a projection of our own personal experience. But with data science, we know better now what are the things that consumers want? What are the things that our fellow kababayan, ang mga kaibigan natin, actually those are the things that they want. So bottom line is now we have a better understanding of the nature of human. And exactly this is the reason why innovation, 70% of which, as what I've shown in the previous figure, is really driven by two things. The first one is understanding data science. Here is where artificial intelligence comes in. But the second concept is that you need to add entrepreneurship to it. Understand value creation. And if you can have this, kung meron po kayo nitong dalawang perspective na to, data science at saka entrepreneurship, you can be one of these guys, no? Most innovative company in the world known as the Gandalf, no? Google, Amazon, Netflix, DBS, Apple, LinkedIn, Facebook. All of you probably consume this except for DBS, although I saw na merong kaninang galing sa Singapore. Lahat po yan were created by guys who has a very good understanding about data, has very good understanding about the IT, no? Lahat po yan, no? Si Page and Brin, when they created the PageRank algorithm, doon nagsimula ang Yahoo. Si Bezos, who's an electrical engineer, okay, created currently the largest corporate companies in the world, the most valuable company in the world, Amazon. Netflix, which was created by Hastings, etc. no? Zuckerberg, Huffman, etc. Lahat po ito ay may ability na maintindihan ng data, may ability tungkol sa IT, and at the same time, meron silang entrepreneurship skill para magkuha ng mga value sa mga information na ito. And this has been their strength, no? So most valuable companies in the world were created by professionals who understands data science, who understands IT, okay, who understands emerging technology. And they are naturally researchers, intrinsically researchers. So some examples po so that I can show you kung paano tinutulungan ng data science ng AI ang iba't ibang companies at government institutions. This is a work that we've done with Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. As you all know, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is responsible for processing or looking at more than 500 companies every month, 500 financial institutions every month. And they are using roughly 8 8 times 5, 40 man hours per week. Okay, just to look at one account. And if there are 50 accounts, you are looking at 20,000 man hours per month. No? By using and combining artificial intelligence, okay, we were able to reduce yung time na ginugugol po nila para dito from 20,000 man hours to 11 minutes. Now, this is what data science, AI, IT can do. This is 99.9% process time reduction. But they mentioned that this is something that they should have more than a decade ago. No? This is an example of something that affects especially those who are in Metro Manila. Angat Dam supplies more than 92% of the water consumption sa Metro Manila at all the way to Bulacan and Calabarzon actually. But the problem is that the technology or the system that they have before can only forecast it from in 2 weeks time. By researching on AI and data science, we were able to extend this to 6 months. What is the difference with if you can forecast something 6 weeks, 2 weeks to 6 months? You can do intervention. No? Mapo-forecast ninyo kung kailangan pakawalan ng tubig or kailangan hindi kayo magpakawala ng tubig. The magic number for Angat Dam is 180 meters. Too less and there is no water, there will be water shortage. Too high and there is too much rain, ang mangyayari po dito, it can cause flash floods, killing lives, no? Flooding, etc. So again, data science and AI can help in doing this, no? And we were able to demonstrate this. Again, this is research. No, research po ang nag-drive nito. This is another work we have done with one of the biggest agricultural company in the country, more than 300 branches nationwide. And they are losing a lot of money because of the spoilage, because they are doing this for animal feeds, no? Nasisira po, nabubulok kasi hindi nabibili. So we created an AI to make sure that the moment na pinroduce nila yung mga feeds na yon at nilagay sa store na yon, okay, supply and demand essentially na problem, they will be able to have it na mabibili and specifically designed for each brand, no? Each branch. And the avoidance of spoilage allowed them to save an annual revenue of 100 million, no? Another example po, this is one of the largest manufacturing company in the world, and they are based in the Philippines, no? In fact, they produce more than 90% of one specific device na importante sa atin sa buong mundo. Sila yung gumagawa nun. They have very expensive, quite expensive equipment. Some can cost up to $500,000. And the problem is yung machine-human interaction. Pag napapagod yung tao, nagkakasakit yung tao or hindi niya napapakilaman yung machine, nagkakaroon ng gap and therefore nagkakaroon ng disruption sa processes. What we try to understand is how do you optimize this human-machine interaction. Kailangan mo ba dapat doblehin yung tao na ilalagay mo? Kasi most probably inaantok yung tao kapag ginagawa yung isang specific na equipment na yon, no? So in the process, we were able to save them 75 million of savings per 10 products, and they have hundreds of products in their company because of simply properly understanding machine-human interaction. This is a work that we've done with one of the largest pharmaceutical company in ASEAN. And they control also several hospitals. And as we all know, it is very important now that we understand yung hospital capacity. And the system that we develop for these guys, the
Bye.
research that we develop for these guys is that we try to forecast how long will this individual stay in the hospital. And by doing so, mapaplano po nila yung capacity nila, may improve nila yung quality ng service nila, at malalaman nila kung alin ilan yung kaya nila na i-accommodate na pasyente every now and then. So we saved them 15.3 million per annum for 10 diseases for the two hospitals, at least for the two hospitals that they control. Uh, Again, this is another research, no? Contact tracing. Alam po natin na sinabi nga ni Sec Duque na may problema yung stay safe. Pinag-aralan po namin yon, and ang apat na cities po, Pasig, Valenzuela, Antipolo, Mandaluyong, we help them come up with a contact tracing app that can pinpoint kung ano yung mga vulnerable na individuals. Hindi lamang po yon, kung sino yung mga super spreaders, no? Kung sino yung mga super spreaders, and therefore yung mga super spreaders can impact in our calculation can actually to some extent impact more than 800 individuals. Ito yung mga paikot-ikot, galaw ng galaw, or sometimes ito yung mga cashier na pag hindi mo sila nalaman, ang dami nilang maaapektuhan. So part po ng algorithm na ginawa namin yan, dineploy namin at ginagamit po ito ng apat na consortium cities. 5 na po actually ngayon, kasama na ang Rizal. And artificial intelligence can be used in aging and drug discovery. So in this work, some of the things that we've demonstrated is that you can in fact understand kung ano po. Nakita po naman natin, no, yung vaccine from 15 years na reduce siya into normally approximately dati 10 to 15 years, na reduce siya in less than a year. And this is because of data science. Now, this is because of the way we now understand data. Dito po sa mga research na ito, pinakita namin that the impact of the different drugs, for example, will be different for different nationality. No, isa po sa pinakita namin na work dito sa article na ito. And in education, since a good portion of you here are educators, isa po sa ginagawa sa AIM ngayon ay we get projects, and everyone who will be in who want to get projects for the students, they have to pay something like $10,000. Okay, and ito po yung mga companies that we've worked with, and all in all, dito po we've worked with more than 40 companies now, and this is just 2020, sorry. And the amount of revenue that we gave to these companies is greater than $40 million. And this is the number not given by our students, but these are the numbers given by mostly the CFO, the chief financial officers of those companies. No? So in art and creativity, it is also impacted by new technology. This is a Fernando Amorsolo and my pace done by one students. Combining this, okay, through what is referred to as a deep learning algorithm, kaya mo pong gumawa ng iba't ibang arts. And you can automatically colorize things. So it changes the way we think, we do things, even in arts, no? Or even colorize videos. Ang main point ko lamang po sa lahat ng mga example na ito, and dito ako pupunta sa National AI Roadmap. I'm looking at my time. I still have 7 minutes. Hindi na po natin may iwasan ng artificial intelligence sa panahon na to. It pervades our life. Lahat po ng mga areas na to pinupuntahan niya. And kapag nag-invest tayo dito, clear ang return. At nakikita nyo rin po ang reason kung bakit mataas ang bayad sa mga data scientists. Ang mga estudyante po namin who works with these different companies as a student, during their thesis, they are hired mostly by those companies at a premium, no? They normally increase their salary by a factor of 3 times, 3.5 times this year, after completing the degree programs. Not aside from demand, it is really because of the value that they can give to the different companies. And this is therefore, it is no surprise that the government around the world see artificial intelligence as a nation-defining capability. The same way that previously, nakikita natin ng strength ng army or ang oil ang nagdi-define sa strength ng isang bansa. No? We are one of the first 50 who had the national AI roadmap. And we actually launched this AI roadmap in May 5, no, after the May 4 sa mga Star Wars naman. This is May 5. Ayaw nating kuhanin yung Star Wars na of the day. In 2021, this year, no, May 5, 2021. And one of the things that I would like to highlight, okay, in this AI roadmap, there are 42 strategic tasks. But one of the things that we are very excited is strategic task number 27, which is the creation of a national center for AI research. What we want to establish here is to upskill and reskill the education of people on artificial intelligence in the entire country, help MSMEs, help the one-stop shop for micro, small, medium enterprises to go into that one. But at the one of the focus of this is really AI research, algorithmic innovations. No? Isa po yun sa pinaka gusto nating mangyari dahil if only by doing so, by publishing original works in research, can we become one of the legitimate center of excellence in the world. At yun po yung gusto natin na goal. No? Bigyan ng malalaking salary ang mga nandoon sa academics na gustong gumawa ng research comparable sa buong mundo. And this cannot be done by the government alone. So alam po namin that if it will be subjected to salary standardization law at yung mga COA, mababagal na processes ng gobyerno, hindi po ito, it will in fact defeat the purpose of AI. The main purpose of AI is agility. Pero pag nilagay mo yan at tinali mo ng malaki sa gobyerno, mawawala yung concept ng agility. So the idea here is that this is for developmental po ang purpose nito. It's really an R&D for socio-economic needs. We are looking for R&D that will immediately benefit the industry and the greater good of the society, but we will spend a lot of time developing algorithms that are customized specifically for the Philippine setting but has a global impact. So these are just some of those that priority areas where that this AI center will look at: agriculture, transportation, smart manufacturing, healthcare, and resilient technology. Again, these are chosen because these are very important for the Philippine setting. No? These are just some of the guys who help us during ito po, marami pa po na kasama natin na nakausap natin sa development nitong AI roadmap together with these different institutions. Whole of government approach ang general na idea. And of course, sabi ko nga, importante dito na may mga enterprise na involved. No? So, we are raising a $10 million initially, and hopefully we will be able to get all of that soon. So that we can start this first quarter of next year, no? And all industry support. So ibig sabihin po, lahat ng pera dito ay galing sa industry, hindi po ito subject sa COA or salary standardization law. In fact, the salary of the personnel that will be hired here will be in dollars para po international po ang feel ng ating institution, and we will be getting international scientists there. So as a proof of principle, kung paano po nag-merge in the last 2 minutes ang data science and entrepreneurship at saka yung emerging technology, na-create po yung school that I am heading currently now about 4 years ago. No? About this School of Innovation, Technology, and Entrepreneurship. Madali po sa amin na makakausap ng mga entrepreneurs dahil legendary po ang AIM pagdating sa entrepreneurs. No? Almost all these companies, they were product of AIM, more than 800 of them. Name a company, most probably they've been linked to AIM or in one way or another, or they grow their company as part of AIM. And ang idea po namin dito, pag samasamahin namin ang mga geeks, ang mga IT na katulad ninyo, ng marami sa audience natin, mga entrepreneurs, at saka mga malilikot ang utak, mga innovators. And create that, dito po ang Master of Science and Data Science namin, PhD in Data Science, and we are housing the fastest AI computer in the country, no? At 1.2 petaflops na feature po siya sa Asian Scientist, isa sa pinakamalakas na computer sa ASEAN, no? And immediately nakakuha po siya ng mga supporters, including the Aboitiz. Kaya Aboitiz ang unang pangalan ng school namin. We get a $10 million Aboitiz donation from the Aboitiz group as an endowment. Most of the purpose of this is really is to help our company the students who would like to pursue MS Data Science or PhD in Data Science. So ito lang po yung ilan sa mga sponsors natin. At gusto ko pong i-end ang presentation ko dito sa picture na to. No? Makikita niyo po dito ang Ayala Group. Nandito po ang head ng Globe, nandito po ang head ng BPI, nasa likod ko po yung president ngayon ng BPI, nakita niyo po si Jasa, IMI, Ayala Health, etc. They listen to gigs. This is unimaginable when I completed my PhD in physics degree, MS Physics degree, na makakausap natin at makikinig sa atin ang mga mga top guys ng different companies. And this is what I would like to highlight po ngayon. Na nakikinig po sila ngayon dahil kailangan nilang makinig sa emerging technology. So, proof of concept, okay, if you properly understand IT, data science, and have this entrepreneur's perspective, sa lalo na po sa mga estudyante natin ngayon, you can indeed increase your value. No? This is the numbers that we got from our MS Data Science students and MSIB students. Mainly the idea is that we make sure that they understand that data should be at the center of whatever thing